Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. The Back for
Yes,
Sports Podcast with your man Fonz.
and Quan, what's going on, folks?
Rough week. Want to thank you guys for tuning in and being a part of this ride with us. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all that good stuff, leave us a rating. It'll help push us up, and I'm gonna remind y'all at the end of the show.
Right.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and share the actual winners from last week for the pick'em. Goatee Ways is actually on the streak. This man went 10-4. I'm shocked I crept back in second. Like, I didn't get it because the first it was like, wow. And of course, you, Quan, you tied for second with myself. And then we have Winner Circle at fourth. Tied for fifth is Jay Sean and Ravens for Life. And bringing up the caboose is Vesta. So y'all go ahead and get your picks over there. Go ahead and get your picks in and make sure that y'all get it done before Thursday at 8:15.
Right.
All right, so speaking of picks, let's go ahead and share our picks for this week. So, Thursday Night Football, we have the Saints at the Cardinals. I picked Arizona.
I'm gonna go with the Saints. Taysom Hill might have another good game again.
Yeah, and that made me so. I was a little conflicted about that pick. Up next, we have Atlanta at Cincinnati. I'm taking the home team.
I'm not too big on Cincinnati this year. I mean, they've pulled out some, and some of them they haven't.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Falcons for the upset.
I mean, Falcons did come off an improbable win against the 49ers on Sunday, which is crazy. Up next, you got Detroit at Dallas. I am taking Detroit by default.
Detroit at Dallas. I was a little conflicted about this pick too. It's like,
yeah.
I don't know what's the status on Dak. I think he comes back this game, or either this game or next game. He's going to come back.
Well, it all depends on that thumb there. If that thumb ain't working right, he can't fight like he wants to.
He said it's an A, but he wants it to be an A+. So
yeah.
I'm gonna take Dallas.
You know what? Honestly, I think I'm gonna switch my pick to Dallas as well, just because they're home, and they actually do different when they're home. They went against Philadelphia. Philadelphia's playing out this world, so big shout out to Philly. Up next, we have Indianapolis at Tennessee. I took Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm gonna take them too.
Yeah, I don't trust Indy right now. Green Bay at Washington. I'm going for Washington with the upset.
Man, if Green Bay lose to the Giants, Jets, and the Commanders, it's got to be some changes.
Now, there's no harm in losing to the Giants. Giants are 5-1. There's no harm in losing to them. But it is really no harm losing to the Jets this year. But if you lose to the Commanders, which I got them losing, there's something going on in Green Bay. And it ain't cheese.
It's your lane.
Oh, man. Up next, we have Tampa Bay coming off a loss against Pittsburgh. I told you. At Carolina.
2 points.
Yeah, win 1 point and 2 points. A win's a win.
But I'm gonna take. I think Carolina might be. I mean, it's a rival game. It's a divisional game. I think Carolina might be able to win that game. Probably by a field goal or less. Just simply because the Buccaneers is kind of in trouble. I mean, Tom Brady don't seem like he's having much fun this year. So I think Carolina might be able to do a little something.
I'm gonna use your same logic, but for the other team. Carolina is actually in disarray right now, and I think they're gonna be playing distracted. So I'm gonna take Tampa Bay just because on paper they're the better team at this point. Yeah. Up next, New York Giants coming off an emotional win versus my Baltimore Ravens at the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That's gonna be a good game.
I'm taking the Giants.
I don't know. I think the Giants might need to lose. They've been finding ways to win games.
Mm-hmm.
Close games, very close games, competitive games.
And some teams been giving them the game.
But you know what though?
Baltimore
got a sneaky defense that turns heads there once in a while.
And the Giants do start slow. I noticed that.
I'm gonna take the Jags. Giants go 5-2 this week.
Okay, all right. Up next, we got Cleveland at Baltimore. I'm taking Cleveland. I don't trust Baltimore right now, especially in the fourth quarter. I don't trust them. I've lost faith. I lost faith in Baltimore's fourth quarter offense and defense.
If I got to choose a team in the division to win between them two, I'll take Baltimore for 500.
No, so I had 500 put on it. Up next, we got the New York Jets at the Denver Broncos. I'm taking the Jets, even though they've been on the road last couple weeks. I'm taking the Jets.
Yeah.
Up next, we got Houston at Vegas. I'm taking the Raiders on that one.
Houston at Vegas. Oh, yeah, I take the Raiders.
Yeah. This is a tricky one here. The Seattle Seahawks at the LA Chargers. I'm taking Seattle.
I'm going to take the Chargers by default.
I could do it. This is a tricky one, too. The Kansas City Mahomes is at the San Francisco Garoppolos. I'm taking Kansas City, though. Because they're going to be mad. They let one slip.
I'm going to take Kansas, too.
Up next, Sunday Night Football, Pittsburgh at Miami. I'm taking Pittsburgh on this situation. It's sad I don't pick my own team, but I'm taking them. But if any team I can see that can dethrone and throttle Miami, it's got to be Pittsburgh.
They don't have Tua, but they still have Tyreek, and they still got Jalen Waddle. They got a good run game, had a good run game going on. Pittsburgh played good. I mean, the bench players played better than the starters.
Yeah.
For some odd reason.
I guess they wanted to get that stink of Tom Brady off.
Yeah. I mean, even Mitch Trubisky threw more passing yards than he did in the first 4 games that he started. Yep. So maybe he is really a bona fide backup.
Mm-hmm.
But Kenny Pickett's in concussion protocol.
Y'all going on the road?
I don't know whether we can hold, just like I said to you when y'all played them. I mean, it's just hard to hold that much speed for 4 quarters, and I don't think we have a player on our roster that can guard Tyreek Hill and Jalen Wilder all night long.
Well, Tyreek Hill, he left in the boot. He left the last game in the boot now.
Yeah, but nevertheless, I'm gonna go Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Pittsburgh it's gonna be a close game though, because whoever the quarterback is in Miami, he ain't getting it done. And Pittsburgh is known for eating quarterbacks up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Right. As long as Pittsburgh keep the play in front of them and don't let them get over top, y'all got that. Monday Night Football, Chicago at New England. I'm taking New England. New England is starting to wake up.
Yeah, I'm gonna take
they starting to wake up. Teams that are on bye are the Buffalo Bills, the Rams, the Vikings, and the Eagles. That's going to take a hit in my fantasy team, but it's all well, fine and good. But those are our predictions and everything. Hopefully we get them right this time around. Hopefully I can finish in the top 5 this week.
Right. Hopefully I get my first place back.
Well, I think that's gone. All right, so one thing that we've been hearing about for the past maybe 10 years are fully guaranteed contracts in the NFL. This past summer, the Cleveland Browns, I'm not going to say set a precedent because it's been done before, but the Cleveland Browns gave Deshaun Watson a $230 million fully guaranteed contract. So that means if he gets hurt and got to sit out, They still got to pay this man that money. Now we got players coming down the pipe like Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, the young guys, the young bucks now. They're going to be looking for those types of contracts. Now, people that I know, especially with the Lamar Jackson one, was saying, well, why they ain't paid Lamar? It ain't even about that. It's the NFL owners versus the Players Association. The owners is not trying to hear it. Let's just be real. The owners are not trying to hear it. But the Players Association is like, oh yeah, sure. Let's get this going. Let's have them have those fully guaranteed. In fact, 2 weeks after the Watson deal, J.C. Tretter, who is the president of the NFL Players Association, did a letter, and he was praising Deshaun Watson's contract. Here's my thing. Maybe you can help me out here. Do you think that those fully guaranteed contracts, especially for quarterbacks, do you think that's going to be the new norm?
No. I don't think it'll be the new norm. It'll probably be something that they will want or probably, desire to have. Mm-hmm. I mean, all across the board, all those players out there want guaranteed money. I mean, it's pretty much like having a full-time job with no benefits. Right. That's what this full guaranteed money is about. I don't think it's going to be the new norm, but I do think players is going to start expecting a little more guaranteed money than usual for that, depending on the position. But for quarterbacks, quarterbacks already make good money.
Yeah, but they the first one to touch the ball.
You're right.
Sometimes the first one to get hurt.
I don't think it's going to be as much guaranteed money in for quarterbacks as it would be for running back or for, players like, running back. They take the most contact on the field. Mm-hmm. So they definitely want guaranteed money. Even down to your receivers, you get onto the defensive side of the ball. I feel like maybe your linebackers, outside linebackers, middle linebackers, and safeties, they pretty much want a lot of guaranteed money. Mm-hmm. And outside of that, any offensive lineman, which is,
of course,
they probably make a lot more money than some of those players out there, really.
Right.
But no, I don't think it's going to be the new norm. But I do think players are going to expect to have, some type of guaranteed money involved in that contract.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, see, here's my pushback, and it's not a hard pushback; it's more of a gentle pushback. You mentioned running backs. Running backs, they generally last at minimum 3 years because they get the most contact. They get the most wear and tear, especially if you're on a team, Baltimore, that loves to run the ball.
Right.
Here's the thing. In the NBA and Major League Baseball, fully guaranteed is the way of life. NFL has replaced baseball as the country's number one pastime. That means we can't wait until the second week of September every year, right? We watch the NFL more than we watch the NBA and MLB combined. MLB is in their playoffs and their TV ratings ain't all that. But we go back to Deshaun Watson. He is not the first quarterback to get a fully guaranteed deal. Kirk Cousins was the first to get that fully guaranteed deal. I really feel like it can be the norm due to the fact of the revenue that these teams are bringing in per year. They get paid to be on TV, win or lose. Merchandise sales, they get all that money back. The only monies that they don't see is when different concerts and stuff is happening in their stadium, and the money that is generated from those concerts, like concessions, all that stuff, the team doesn't see that money. That money don't count. A team like the Packers. The Packers are a non-profit organization. I bet a lot of people didn't know that. They run their team as a non-profit organization. So that means they're funded by somebody else. If you're a nonprofit, you're funded by somebody else. Who is that somebody funding them?
Fans.
Exactly. The fans, there's people, the fans are shareholders on that team. So let's say in Green Bay alone, we ain't talking about the country because I have yet to meet another Green Bay Packer fan face to face.
My mom is one, so
God bless. Some of those fans actually own a piece of that team.
Yeah.
So they're like the only team that doesn't have a real owner. Last year, 2021, the end of the fiscal year is March 31st. Each team received $309 million. That's just off TV revenue. Each team got $309 million. So that comes to a point where at some point it's going to be done. Otherwise, the quality of the game is going to go down because that kills the parity now, especially if you're not going to offer these guaranteed contracts. Honestly, though, as much money these teams are getting back, a guaranteed contract is a drop in the bucket.
Well, yeah, depending on what type of player you're talking about. Now, you mentioned Kirk Cousins. He was the first one to get full guaranteed contract.
Yeah, and Minnesota was stupid too.
Well, yeah, but I still believe then Kirk Cousins was a different player than what he is now, or looked at as a different player as he is now.
Yeah, that's because he took Washington, the R words at the time, to the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, I think really the guaranteed money is for the real special players. And I mean, we have a lot of those right now in the NFL. A lot of franchise special players like Josh Allen. I know he's going to get his money whenever he do get his money. It's going to be a lot.
Oh, he got his money. Hold up, I'm gonna tell you, man. He got $150 million guaranteed.
Okay, Patrick Mahomes already got his money. Ben had his money. But like, who's another special player? Stephon Diggs. I feel like he's probably due for another. He's going to want more money because of his production level, which I kind of think that goes back to Josh Allen because, I mean, don't get me wrong, Diggs is nice. Don't get me wrong. He's a special receiver. Mm-hmm. But if it wasn't for Josh Allen, no.
Wait, whoa. Don't say that. Because before Diggs, Allen was looking like a bust.
Well, yeah. No. What Diggs did to the offense will take the top off the offense.
That's it. That's what
Diggs did. That's the only thing Diggs did now. But Josh Allen was still a good player. He wasn't what we're seeing right now.
Thank you. But he was living off potential at that point.
Yeah, he was living off potential then. But I mean, just y'all know all the star players. I ain't got to go through them. For those specific players, I feel like they'll have a right to argue or have something to say about guaranteed money. But just to be giving everybody guaranteed money, I don't think so. Because as we know, a lot of players are bust in the NFL, and I don't think all players.
Everybody. Yeah, like the 6th string running back should not want guaranteed money. You're gonna get the league minimum.
So. The NFL is a business, so I mean the player has to be some type of value to that franchise,
right?
And all of them. I mean, pretty much all fans are somewhat shareholders of every franchise. Somewhat now,
unofficially.
Yeah. Now Green Bay they solely rely on sales and all that good stuff. But all of us kind of have some type of just a little pinch of shareholders. Because I mean, if we stop buying stuff, if we stop watching it on TV, they lose money.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it all kind of goes in. But I feel like yes, the NFL is going to have to start spending some money on players that make a difference on the team.
Mm-hmm. See, here's the thing. That whole thing about these contracts, that's an age-old rule when it comes down to it. Matter of fact, The funding rule was created in the league in the late 60s. This is before the merger. So the merger was in 70, when teams were making a fraction of the revenue they're making today. It wasn't specifically created to discourage handing out guaranteed contracts, but it has effectively served that purpose for more than 50 years. So that is the funding rule. The money that the NFL is making this very minute it pales in comparison to what they was making back then. They were just barely getting over the hump. That's why they had to merge with the AFL. A lot of people don't know that, but that's why they had to merge, because the AFL was rising in popularity and taking away stars. So NFL was like, nah, we're going to come together like butt cheeks. That funding rule is old now, especially with the revenue. And I agree with you said, a lot of us fans have a small part in these teams that we represent. When we buy merchandise, when we watch the games, when we go to the games, you know what I'm saying? So we do invest into that team. But here's the kicker. Even if you a diehard fan of your team, your money don't matter to them. It's just dropping the bucket. And let's go ahead and kill a myth. The salary cap is capped. Because guess what? It has been proven that teams that spend over this salary cap actually do better than teams that's trying to hold on to money. Why? Because they got money to fall back on. So guarantee contracts, they're not going to overly kill the cap. Let's just be real. Really one of the only people that I think deserves a guaranteed contract is Patrick Mahomes, but he got $500 million to chill on. So, hey, you telling me that, and then they still producing, they still doing what they got to do in Kansas City, and he signed that contract last year? I think year before last, right when we started recording, that's when he signed that $500 million contract.
Yeah.
So, and Kansas City has been to a Super Bowl after that. Let's see, they still in contention. They still make it to the AFC Championship game. What gives? Is the NFL pulling wool over our eyes or something? Or are we just, honestly, as a fan base of these teams, we don't take time to study and learn these intricacies of how much of a business the NFL is? Did you know? Go ahead.
I think it's more of just us being fans. A lot of us don't know what is going on. NFL is not a platform where it's going to display what it's doing as well.
You took the point.
It's very, very private.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the analytics and stuff is there. But it's just a matter of, we all fans. I mean, we don't really care about what they do with the money as long as they get good players in free agency. They got a good draft. Look, we satisfied. We won't hear nothing else. We won't hear nothing from us.
As long as we win it.
They do what they need to do with the money. So, I mean, and I do concur with you on, our money, like the little money that we go to. We might go to Liz, buy a jersey and a hat.
Money don't matter.
I mean, if you get it out of the store, if you buy it off NFL.com, I believe it goes.
They still got
it goes to. But if you
got to pay the person that made it
store and buy it, they don't get a lot of that money. I mean, a lot of that money goes to back to the store. A little bit goes here, a little bit goes there. But like you said, it's still a drop in the bucket. I mean, you're talking about a multi-billion-dollar company that has 32 teams that got billions of dollars. I mean, so it's money that we can't even count. I mean, and I work at a bank, so and I got counting machines. And
like you probably won't even. Real talk. We probably won't even see that much money in one setting.
So, I mean, it's a lot of money involved. One thing though that we also got to keep in mind is that all 32 franchises is self-sufficient. If you, it's sort of like Walmart. All Walmarts across this world is self-sufficient. If one of these Walmarts close, in your local neighborhood, that don't mean the whole brand of Walmart gonna go down. That Walmart across the street still open
all day long.
So that's how you know when you got a lot of success, where all everything connected to it can run on its own, self-sufficient.
Right. And think about the Cowboys. Think about the Cowboys for a second. They got
they worth $5. They was valued at $5 billion.
They one of the biggest fan bases.
I don't understand that though. I mean, how can you just be that trash and be valued at $5 billion?
Because everybody on the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and even in the mountains, somebody love that Blue Star ointment. Does it do what? It stops itching fast. That's what it does. There's so many Cowboy fans, and they're gonna buy that stuff. They're gonna go to the games. They're gonna do this. They're gonna talk about the Cowboys. Don't let them be on the platform. They're gonna talk about them. You talk about these teams, and people click on your video. They get a piece of the pie,
and they aired everywhere.
Yes,
they watch Cowboys anywhere.
Thanksgiving. They just don't come on in the playoffs though.
No, they don't come on in the playoffs. they figure you have your share about the week 17.
Yeah, by week 17, you be done with it. So, do you think? I'll be honest. I'm not a conspiracy theorist or nothing. And after we make this point, we can bounce. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, nothing. But as much as Stephen A. Smith talks about the Cowboys, don't you think he get a little piece of the pie from Jerry Jones by keeping the Cowboys' name in his mouth? Come on, man.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, they get paid to get up there and talk, and they got something to read, and
that's it. That's the world we live
in. America is a big old business. That's all. Everything revolves around the green dollars.
I'm trying to tell you, the OJs came out with a beautiful song talking about the almighty dollar.
Yes.
Yeah, boy, I tell you.
Oh, for that mean green.
That mean green, boy. I'm telling you. If these owners want to win championships, they want to do this, they want to do that. You bring in transcendent players that take your team from here and put you up there, have people talking about, pay these people. That's like you selected them. You chose them. You can't get mad because they that darn good.
Right.
Pay them. It'll be all right. You're going to get the money back.
I'm going to get it back tenfold.
Tenfold. Put your offering in your hand and wave it in the air. Well, we're going to go ahead and jump on over here, man. Again, thank you all for being a part of this family. If you want to interact with us, go ahead and join the Back Porch Sports Podcast War Room on Facebook. We chop it up there, man. We have a great time doing it. Also, again, like I said at the top, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, anything that is a carrier of music and podcast and henceforth and so what, leave us a rating.
Right.
Please leave us a rating. Like, they're pretty, please. I don't like begging. Please. But we appreciate y'all, man. So, Quan, you got anything you want to add to it?
Nothing at all.
All right. So, this has been the Back Porch Sports Podcast with your man, Fonz.
I'm Quan.
And we out of here, y'all.
Peace.